Hello and welcome back to the STTD podcast. I am joined with Sam and Tom, and it has been a hell of a ride trying to get this started, but without further ado, let's get into this because we've got such a great guest on with us today, and that is James C. Burns. So I know you don't like being asked, and I've said it beforehand, but how are you?
Oh boy, we're gonna go. We've done this like 4 times on this episode already. I'm very good. How are you? I'm fine. I'm good, man. Life is. I'm a very grateful dude. So life every day is good for me. You know.
That's great news. That is great. And Tom, how are you doing? And Sam, how are you doing too?
I am doing absolutely fine, thank you, Tom. Very excited for this episode.
I have a question for you guys.
All right.
Which one of you guys has the STD? I want to know. I hope it's not contagious. I don't get a virus on my computer, will I, from you guys?
It doesn't pass through.
Yeah.
It's definitely Sam. Sam definitely has.
It's going to be SMT, social media transferred diseases.
Probably all of us.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Come on, lads.
So, people will know you from the Call of Duty franchise, but I feel like we should start just a bit earlier beforehand and talk a bit about your early life. So, let's. I heard that you was from a factory town in Massachusetts without sounding like a stalker. So, you was very interested in hockey when you was younger. Tell us a bit about that and how did you see the appeal in hockey?
Well, it's the same thing. Look, the world is pretty much a small place. Pick any small factory town in the UK, any small town, and you have someone who's pretty good at football. They have a chance of getting out of that small town, right? Or you get so if you have a skill at something, you use that skill to change your life. So I was in a factory town. We weren't rich. We weren't poverty stricken. We're working class. So that means, I never really worried about having food on the table, but, there wasn't a lot of money for other things. So, and then sports, remember, I go back, this is way before computers, man. This is way before iPhones and iPads and shit. And we're outdoors all day. I mean, I think I was a good athlete because I spent my entire childhood from like maybe 4 years old on in the backyard climbing trees. So you become athletic just because you're outside in the world every day doing shit. And then if you're fortunate enough to find a sport that's you have access to, it can parlay very quickly,
Yeah, it's the way you speak is always really inspirational, and that's one thing that when we're listening to your Sarge's Corner, you always are giving advice and things like that, and I think that's really interesting for when it comes to just your fan base in general, and we'll talk a bit about Sarge's Corner later, but just on the back of that, while we're on about hockey, who is your American team?
I stopped following teams many years ago because on the onset of players became more important than teams. So, and rarely would you after probably the early '90s, teams kept changing every couple of years. You get a bunch of guys come together, they win a cup, and they'd break up. So, the days of teams for me are long gone. I follow players. Some teams tend to have traditionally good squads, or they have a set of guys that stick together for. Like I like the Blackhawks. I like the Rangers because I love the Canadians uniform. So I like different teams for different reasons. Like my favorite team now is probably Edmonton because it has Conor McGregor and Leon Draisaitl playing. So it really is about players. It's about watching. I follow players and where they go. It's just more to that than I'm not. I'm not like English football. You guys live and die by your side. I don't have that same thing. Although in America there are people who are like that. It's just not my cup of tea, as you would say. Right, my cup of tea.
No. That's just great. And I think moving on from hockey and your sort of influence through that to later on through your acting, and I believe that Sam right now is going to talk a bit about some of your acting.
All right, go ahead, Sam.
I'd like to go on to that. Thank you, James. I've noticed now. We don't know whether it's correct, but your IMDb is filled to the brim with hundreds of different acting credits.
Yeah.
And I wondered, before Call of Duty, which was 2010, how many of these stood out to you? How did you? Your first one listed here was actually on an SNL skit. Is that correct?
Oh my God. So my career is, there's good and bad. It's the tale of two cities. I was a hockey player and coach for 20 years, and during the during my 20s, when I was transitioning out of playing hockey into coaching, I happened to book a Wheaties commercial as a hockey player, and I and it kind of cost me my career because I either can go to camp or I can shoot the commercial. And I almost turned the commercial down because I want to be a hockey player. And the guy said to me, "Look, how much money are you going to make playing? Where are you going to be in the minors?" Because I wasn't an NHL guy; I was minor league professional. So I was good, but I wasn't good enough to be an NHL guy. And you don't get paid a lot of money in the minors. And he told me how much money I'd make on the commercial, and it was more than I would make playing hockey. And he goes, "No one's going to beat you up." And so I took the gig, and then I knew I was going back to Europe anyway. So, long story short, I did some acting work during the late '80s and all through the '90s, and then when I transitioned out of being a coach, I decided, okay, let's see if I can apply some of my coaching techniques I use for coaching athletes into coaching myself and how to be an actor. And one of the ways I learn personally, you got to know how you learn. Some people learn through listening, through watching. I learn best through making mistakes. I need to know what I don't know before I can find the information. And that means I got to put myself into an environment where I can make mistakes, but it's not going to be costly. Sometimes you make mistakes and they will last you the rest of your life. So you got to have a very specific. What practice is about. So I created a practice space for myself to go and make mistakes and low level, non consequential projects that nobody's ever going to see. And so I committed a couple years of my life to, because this is my 40s when I started acting, and I said, I need to practice. I need to get out there and make a lot of mistakes. I need to get out there and feel what's right, what's weak, and then I go back and and then make changes, learn things. So I spent 2 years basically saying yes to every possible job. And I don't care if it was standing on the corner with an iPhone for somebody. I didn't care. I just said, you know what, I got to do it. So you throw you throw your pride aside. You put all your vanity into a box and you lock it away, and you say yes to everything to get some experience. And then that kind of that got pretty successful. And then around 2006. I got my first big job, and thank you, Mark Teschner at General Hospital. I got the role of Vaughn on General Hospital, and that was my first like really legitimate, consistent job. I think I've been in like 50 or 60 episodes of that, and that gave me confidence that I could make a living at it. So I wouldn't. So that year, I stopped coaching hockey entirely and just committed to being an actor. At least just spend my summers doing hockey schools, make some money, come back, and mess around as an actor. But once I got it like a steady gig on a soap opera, then I knew I could probably do this and make a living at it.
That's incredible to hear, and especially like the stepping stone part of it. We, especially amongst the youth, there are hundreds of people wanting to be actors, video game designers, directors, all of this, and it's almost like it's a perfect success or a complete failure. And it's not about that. It's about taking the little steps to get to the big goal, and everyone has to go through that. And hearing someone like you and someone as recognizable as you talk about them steps, I think will be a huge thing to hear from me, from the other members, from our viewers especially, who are at a time
Well,
in
I
life where they're like lost.
I was I was a hockey coach for 25 years, and I trained primarily teenage guys, some women, mostly. And I've known some of these guys since they were 5 years old. Now they're my friends. They're in their 30s, right? So, and I've always had a couple key mark phrases. One is, stop looking at the top of the mountain, because what trips people up is that very first step you're ignoring. And sometimes it's as small as knowing what size skate you should be wearing, or knowing it's always a small detail that you ignore that keeps you from starting. Sometimes you just got to start. Sometimes just get moving. You want to get in shape, go out, take a walk. Do something simple and build on your successes. Because too often people look up and they see like a Brad Pitt or a LeBron James or some superstar, and they want to be that, but they have no idea that their first step may be simple as like, oh, I need to know how to do a push up. Oh, what is information? Finding out where you are. Start from where you are. And I still use that today. Every job I have, and I start working on it, I start from where I am. I don't try to create something. I just try to feel it. And what's my first step? Start from where you are, and then pay attention to your attention. Where you're thinking, the quality of your thinking will dictate the quality of your life. And there's a million layers to this, but these are two things that I harp back to. Pay attention to your attention. What are you focusing your thinking on? And then always look for the next smallest step. What's the first smallest step you can take? And do that. Small steps, small bites. Same way you eat,
We
small bite. I can tell a lot about somebody by the way they eat. If somebody grabs a whole bunch of food and tries and doesn't chew it, the chances are they're not going to be terribly successful, because they're not. Number one, they're not savoring the moment. They're not using piece sizes that are manageable. And most of the highly successful people I know have a very specific way of eating. So study the way you eat. If you gobble your food, then you're missing out on life. You're not maximizing your daily life. Small pieces, master small pieces, and then momentum begins. And the next thing you know, you're where you want to be.
we always ask our guests on the show to give like a strong piece of advice to the listeners, and I think without even asking you, you've just given the best piece of advice I personally have heard on this show. Because it's all about it takes time to get to the top. It takes time. Do you have
Well,
a,
here's the
a
thing.
past? Oh,
But,
yeah.
but let's finish that. You got to be. It's got to be reframed, because the words you put into the world will dictate how you see the world, how the world sees you. It is never about getting to the top of the mountain. It's about having a full experience while doing it. So, again, with auditioning, I had to figure out, because it's a complaint I have with my players all the time. It's like, don't worry about the end of the game. Worry about having a complete shift. Worry about having the best possible stride. Look for one perfect skating stride each shift. If you do that, then you're going to get two, and then three and four. But find a piece that you're connected to. So if you want something, it's not about getting it. Like as an audition, if you want to audition, it can't be about getting the job. It's got to be about, how do I have the best possible experience in this room? How do I leave the room feeling great about what I did, about the connections I made? Because if you leave knowing you achieved everything you wanted to achieve with the session, even if you don't get the job, you feel successful. You've been successful today. So, and no matter what, because there's so many things you can't control with getting a job or getting what you want, but what you can control is the experience you have in the room. And that's all I ever ask my players. It's all I try to ask myself to do. How how fulfilled, how much mastery of myself in the room can I take, and have I been completely expressed in the moment? And that's it. Whether you get to the top of the mountain or not, it's going to be a great ride, because you're going to enjoy every step of the way, and that's what matters.
That's excellent. Personal enjoyment. There's no point once you reach the end of the goal, you've made it, and you want to feel satisfied along the way. Do you find
Yeah, are you
film?
happy? Are you,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Do you find did you have a past with film? Because you've done a lot of film, television, acting. Did growing up watching films, did
film?
that impact you?
Um, I wasn't much of a theater. I was a singer. I was a singer. I was in a band, and I've been in front of people my whole life as an athlete. I grew up in a small town that really had a lot of reverence for sports. So on a football game, we'd have 3,000 or 4,000 people at a football game, and I was like 13, 14 years old. I would sing concerts in front of hundreds of people. So I got used to being in front of people. Even though I was wicked shy off stage or off out of the rink, I was terribly shy. But the music and sports gave me the opportunity to express myself. Um, Movies um, were really the only place I could find work because in the day, that's what everybody wanted to do, be filmmakers. So most of the work, again, go be like water, man. Flow to the low places. Go where the opportunity is. Make opportunity out of obstacles. But for me, I had a lot of opportunity in these low budget, no budget films, and that's what came to me. So that's what I said yes to that. Had more TV come to me, I would have taken that, but I wasn't in line for that. So the only place I could get work because I was older and I hadn't had the years of exposure to get to the parts that I would be seen for. So I had to take what was available to me. A lot of it was just really horrible. I mean, a lot of that stuff I have two or three IMDb's. There's some lowercase IMDb's that I won't even talk about because it's work I don't want people to see. But I had to do it in order to get the experience and to see where I was shortcoming. So I have a lot of movies on my because there aren't people who'd hire me at the time. That's sad truth, but that's what it is.
Following
No,
on
that's-
from that,
Yeah, yeah.
are there
I was
any
just gonna-
roles? Yeah, I was gonna say, are there any
Sorry.
roles that you like fully regret that you're
No.
not comfortable talking
You can't
about?
do that again. You guys, you got to change your thinking here. There's no way to go back and say what if I had. You can't do. You don't. There's no algorithm. There's no omniscience to know what could have happened. If I didn't take a role, I wouldn't. If I didn't have that role that failed, I probably wouldn't be here. Every lesson you get, you can't ever go back and say what if, and it's a waste of time because you can't change it. So looking in the rearview mirror is only good when you're trying to remember data. But if you're trying to evaluate or judge something, it's just a waste of, again, put your attention, put your attention moving forward. The quality of your thinking dictates the quality of your life. This is a theme I run all the time because it's constant. So thinking about regret is it's useless. You can't fix it. You can't change it. You can't. So that's even this conversation we've wasted. We might have wasted time here because we can't fix it. There's nothing to talk about in the past. What's next? Where am I going? Here's one of my big gripes as a hockey coach. I rarely get angry, but one thing that used to piss me off was you get a kid coming down, like on a breakaway, and they would miss the net, right? And instead of going after the puck and trying to get a rebound and continue to play, they would pout and slam the stick against the boards and get angry. Like you just blew several opportunities to keep the play going because you're so selfish and upset that you didn't score the goal. That's your vanity, man. The job is take the shot. If it goes in, you do one thing. If it doesn't go in, you got another job to do. Move on to the next moment. Like it's great improv. Move to the next moment. To sit there and have regret or have resentment about the past is ridiculous. You can't fix anything. It's not going to change anything. And it's only going to reinforce the bad ideas that got you in trouble in the first place. So embrace it, appreciate the lesson, but you got to move forward. Your thinking's always got to move forward. What's next?
Brilliant. Yeah. So, I mean, this sort of forward-thinking idea, is that what you went into when applying to Call of Duty Black Ops 1?
So I had just done about 100 of these low budget, no budget projects. And I had learned what I needed to learn. I was already doing the soap. I was already on burn notice. I'd done legitimate work. And the last thing I wanted to do is go back and do a lot of these early jobs were chaotic. They were learning, I was learning. Nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. So there's a lot of chaos. So I walk into this, and I always say yes to auditions. Not so much now, but back then, I would say yes. Put myself in a circumstance, and then have the ability to say no. But unless you put yourself in the circumstance, you can't say yes or no. So say yes, take the audition, and I was practicing my auditions too. So there's another practice audition. It was for some untitled video game project, looking for motion capture performers with weapons and stunt training. Well, that's me. So I go in, and the audition was just a shit show. It was unorganized. It was chaos. And there's actually a video, and there's a whole playlist on my channel that says how I became Woods. There's a whole video on on the actual auditions. I have the actual videotape from the audition, and I went in there, and it was just chaos. And then I kind of went to my agitated state, and I said, "Ah, fuck, you put the camera here." And I was taking control of things, and I was no way I'm going back in to do this. It wasn't much money. I don't want to be a stuntman, and it just seemed like a waste of my time to take the job. So it's a Wednesday night, and I get a call. They want to hire me for the basically it's hired to do the testing of the technology they're going to use for Black Ops. And Black Ops wasn't a name yet. The character I auditioned for is Frank Barnes. And then after the experience I had with the auditions, there's no way I'm getting involved in and I didn't know anything. I knew nothing about video games. So I'm talking to this guy who's my manager at the time, and I had a commercial for the next day, and we're kind of comparing notes on what jobs to take and refuse. And I goes, yeah, there's this thing here called some video game thing, and I don't want to. It's like it's really unorganized and chaotic. I don't want to do that. He goes, well, what's it called? I go, I don't know. Beauty does something. Beauty duty. He goes, Call of Duty. Oh yeah, Call of Duty. That's the one. He goes, wait a minute. They want to hire you for a Call of Duty project? I go, yeah, but I don't think he was like, what are you, fucking stupid? That's the biggest video game in the world. I go, no shit. He goes, yeah. So on his advice, I took it. And that's how it started. And then it just morphed. I did the testing for the technology. Then they liked me, so they kept me on for the level test, the green lights they're called. So basically, when they make a game, they got to sort of make a sizzle, a testing to send to the corporate, and they'll sign off on it as they like it. So they have to test everything they do. So they hired me for the testing, and then I didn't hear from them for months afterwards. And that's a story for another day. So yeah, that's how that happened. Pretty much in line with my thinking is like, I had options, but I said yes to the opportunity to audition. But I was going to say, because I had another job, I was going to say no. Anyways, I took advice. I took coaching, which is important.
Well, that's good. You mentioned motion capture and how you used that. Was it in both Call of Duties?
Well, prior to Black Ops 2, they had each character required 3 different people. They had a motion capture person who would just do the body, and then you have a voiceover actor who would go in the booth and record the lines, and then you have a face actor where they model the face, and they were like, try to mouth the words, and they'd marry these 3 together. But as you can probably see, that it would be a very disjuncted performance. And Dave Anthony wanted to have more nuance in the video games. Well, he's a very Dave Anthony. He's a countryman of yours. He is he's just a very forward. He's like 3 years ahead of everybody else. He decided that to tell a more nuanced story, they had to shoot it like a film, and that's when they decided to go to the performance capture technology, which is what I was testing. And then where they capture face, body, and voice at the same time, just like a film. So Black Ops and Black Ops 2 and all subsequent Black Ops have all the cutscenes are live action. And again, I have a whole playlist on my channel that shows behind how we actually make it, how we made Black Ops 1 and 2 with the actual. There's one video that has the whole day or from me walking in the studio, getting prepped, doing that, and walking out. So so it's just like shooting a movie now. It's no longer. I mean, you do work in the booth for the voiceover, but most of it for Woods was done live action.
Right. Like getting into like the character, like whilst doing the motion capture, how hard is that? Because you are literally just in like a big room with a load of sensors on you. Like you've not got a real environment.
There's a thing that I did in New York for a while. It's called Black Box Theater. And what that is, you have a stage that's painted in black, and you have some wooden cubes as seats. So like, you know, and there's black there's literally black boxes on the stage, and you're given very simple props, like maybe a bottle or a glass or a knife or something, and you do the play entirely imagining what's around you. You're so if you have to use your imagination, you use different it's called black box theater, and this is very similar to that. I mean, acting is acting. Hit your mark, say your line, be authentic. Know what you're saying, knowing why you're saying it, know why you want to say it, and so that doesn't change. Just the sort of the tools that you use for that. Like TV is different from film. Film is different from theater. Doing commercials is different than everything else, and video games has its own requirements as TV and film is. So you adapt to the requirements, and but nothing changes from your who you are as a character, um, in that sense. So it's just you hopefully you've done your homework. Um, for Woods, I had already done maybe several hundred hours worth of research before I even know it existed. I've read a lot of books on Vietnam. I watched documentaries. Those are the kind of roles that I gravitated to, and those gravitated towards me as well. So I got stunt training. I have weapons training. Doing warriors, doing soldiers was something that I found I started to play very because I look like Woods. I'm built like him. I'm athletic. You know, Woods's body is built on my. It's actually built off of my body. It's called an asset. When you see Woods, those are my assets. I think even the current one too. I'm pretty sure it's using the old assets. So going into the role, I pretty much already knew the character, and then once I started getting information, then that's your baseline, your backstory. And then once I understood the plot, I had to sort of weave in what was needed by the script, by the story. So you only talk as an actor to progress plot or progress character. If you're not doing either, then shut the fuck up. Then you're just talking. Some scripts have a lot of exposition that's moving the plot, but for the most part, my rule was either if I speak, I'm either got to make sure I'm moving the plot forward, or I'm informing you about my character a little bit more. And those are my tenets of being a performer. And the rest is just research, man. Know the plot, know the story, know why you're saying it, know what the character wants, and know why me personally, James C. Burns, what do I want from the scene. So if I have those three things intact, then the line is going to have a lot of depth to it in general.
Yeah, that perfectly shows through scenes such as, the Russian roulette scene that is very famous among a lot.
You know why that's effective, though? Because here's what I find interesting about people not really who know it, who are in the know, have gnosis, as we say. Like as a SOG, because I read John J. Plaster's book on SOG, and I interviewed a bunch of former Green Berets and guys who were actually in Nam who did that kind of work that Woods would have been doing. They were primarily trained as teachers. They're trained to teach insurgents how to use weapons. They go into the hills and train resistance to the communists. So one of the programs they had was kind of mind control. This is very prevalent in the 60s, mind control exercises. And it's called neuro-linguistic programming. So when Woods turns and says, "You can't kill me," that's right out of the survivor's handbook for when you're captured. You want to create doubts. You want to humanize yourself and create doubts in your captors. So when Woods walks in, instead of being afraid of the guns, I stepped at the one guy with the gun. You create a space, and then when I yell at the guy running the roulette session, "You can't kill me," it's like I'm reliving him it's like programming him to have doubt. Like, wait a minute, I can kill you. Like the fact that he's actually remember, quality of thought, you change the attention. So the attention is not on what he's trying to get done. He's questioning whether he can kill me or not. I've changed his ability to focus on his job, and that would create a window of opportunity for us to make an escape. So it's a very deliberate. It's not just a gruff voice and an attitude. I'm actually trying to achieve something with the line that's a lot deeper. I'm trying to program this guy to have a doubt, so doubt makes you move a little less fast, and it slows you down. So if I can get doubt, I have an advantage because he's now going to second guess something, or he's going to think about something other than pulling that trigger. And all I need is a fraction of a second to get something done. So that's the basis of that line for me. Interesting, right? It's not just being a bad, trying to act like a badass. It's actually being a badass. That I'm under control in this moment. I'm gonna get this guy to question himself, and when he does question himself, he may not think about he may not focus. He's got three or four bullets around. There's all these mistakes you can make that I can take advantage of.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, and I believe Sam was going to follow up on that and a bit about your sort of preparations in Call of Duty and what they helped you through.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, because Call of Duty is a huge thing now, and whilst going through it, I imagine, you gained a lot of memories, you gained a lot of opportunities through it. You talk about these, like, small bites, these creating memories. Were there any from Call of Duty that stand out to you as being the best, as being really strong memories, something you're really proud of, perhaps?
What I take away from it is a feeling of camaraderie. Rarely in life, like this is great. You guys got this thing you're doing together. You're building a show together. You have a camaraderie. You have a relationship. Um, I love that. I thrive in that environment. I am a jock. I've been on teams since I was 6 years old. I love working together in a common direction. There's nothing to replace that. This game provided me that for 11 years. And what I remember mostly is the camaraderie and the freedom to fully express. I mean, I have nothing but gratitude to Activision and Treyarch for giving me the freedom to really take this guy out to the edges, man, to explore woods and put my personal stamp on it. It got to the point where we actually, they were writing, the story and some of I wrote a lot of the dialogue for Woods. So I got to create them based on my own persona, my own intentions, which is always about positive base. Like Woods will never shame you. Woods has got your back. He may be intense. You can fucking do this, but he's never gonna call you an asshole unless you're the enemy. So he's always got your back, and I wanted that really to permeate the entire story. But like the best story I have to explain, how it affects me is like the very last day of recording for Black Ops 4. Dave Anthony and I, the director of many of the games, we're close friends and we're great collaborators. When we write, you would think we were just two of the biggest douchebags in the world. Because the way we talk to each other, he goes, "Oh, mate, that fucking sucks. You got to do it." We just have this exchange trying to get to the best possible take. And when you have that kind of trust and you have that kind of intimacy where you can say whatever the fuck's on your mind and whatever comes back, you're okay with it. I trust that he says that sucked. I'll believe him. And even when he says, "No, that was perfect. That was the one," I go, give me one more. He goes, "I will, but you don't fucking need it. You got that one." So no, give me one more. And I'll take one more and go, "Fuck, the other one was better." He goes, "Yeah, I told you." But we have that kind of thing where we had this great working relationship. And the last day of shooting, we sat at these tables out in back of the recording studio, and we're having a beverage, just kind of decompressing. And we're sitting there, man. I go, "Dave, I don't want to leave, because the minute we get in those cars and go back into life, this is all over. It's done forever." And we both sat there like, man, we don't want to go. We just love doing this so much. It's like the minute we take our focus off this moment, it becomes the past. And both of us, we both like to move. We both have the same thing. We move forward. And the minute we leave this environment, we're on to life. He's got his kids. I've got another job to go to. But right now, in this moment, this is the greatest moment we've ever had. And and it happened. And the minute I got in the car, the phone starts ringing. I have shit to do with him. But we took a really long beat, and just to appreciate the fact that we finished it. It's going to be good, and we will never be here again. So let's really enjoy this last moments of this experience. And that's how it was every day on set. So that's what I walk away from it from. The professional stuff, that's cool. The opportunities it afforded me, that's great too. But really, it was that connection to another creative, to artist, in the creation of something that's eternal, man. This is going to be around until we're done with computers, I guess. So it's permanent. So this is something we created, and we're just taking a minute to really to soak it all in, man. Because life, on to the next thing.
It's an excellent answer, James. You've given some like incredible ones that have really given an insight to the character, but also you as a person and the stuff you do. And I think I'm going to pass on to Tom now, who's got some questions.
Yeah. So like Sam just introduced, I'm going to go on a bit about Cold War. Now, this is where it gets a bit different for you, because you've just said about everything that was, well, not necessarily everything, but you've talked about some of your highlights within Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, and then even Black Ops 4. And just having that taken away in Cold War, like, did you find out?
What changed it? That it wasn't taken away. I do not possess this character. This is very important, and this is really misunderstood. I got to clarify time I talk. I have nothing but gratitude to Activision. I have nothing but gratitude to Treyarch. They let me put a stamp on a character that is rarely, this opportunity I was given rarely happens for an artist, to have the freedom to put your stamp on a character in a multi-billion-dollar franchise. I can never have any type of animosity or disparaged feelings towards actors. I mean, what they let me do is phenomenal. Their choice to bring someone in to imitate me, okay, that I have, again, they don't even owe me an explanation in my book. They may owe it to the fans, but not to me. I don't feel any animosity. I am not upset. I don't have any type of jealousy. I wish all the best to Damon Anthony, to David Allen, Damon Victor Allen. I wish him the best. I hope he gets as much from it as I do. I would love for him and I to join forces, but I don't know why that's not happening. But there is no controversy here. It may be for the fans. And do I think I would have brought a different level or different type of experience to the game? Absolutely. I mean, I have 11 years experience. I have connective tissue. I know about. I know things from all the games. Like, I don't think anyone's left there who has the same level of connection that I've had. And maybe Craig Houston. He writes for Zombies now, but I was there from 2009 until 2000, basically 18. That's like, what's that? 9, 10 years, and I just know things. I just know, like, the famous onion scene, right? There's so many opportunities there to. I could have thrown that back to Black Ops 1 and at the Cosmodrome scene, because it's kind of the same kind of assets. And wouldn't it be great? I could put Easter eggs verbally in there, like, instead of talking about the Shrek line, the onion line, it could be like, wait, we lost Weaver at the Cosmodrome. Keep your eyes, you could connect dots. Instead of, you have Perseus and Odysseus, that could have been connected. So I have at my facility all this information from all the universes that I've been in, and could have tied them together. And that's what Black Ops 4, Blackout was kind of trying, in my mind, we're trying to do that. But so I had to cut you off. No one took anything from me. Now, maybe the fans feel like something was taken from. I've heard that said, but for me personally, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. I am not. I've never been negative. I've never been negative. I see it as just gratitude, man. I have no problem with what they did. That is, they made a business choice that they thought was in the best interest. I got to respect that. They can hire and fire whoever they want. They hired me when they wanted to, So I don't know what happened. We had no conversations about the role. I haven't talked to anybody at Treyarch or Activision since the end of Black Ops 4. So I have no idea what happened. But definitely do I not feel there's no sense of anything was taken from me. So go ahead, finish your question.
So,
Boy, I
but
talk a lot, don't I? Holy shit! I didn't realize that.
no, I mean that's quite important. But so you genuinely feel like that's not just being taken away from you? Because from a fans or well anybody's that I've been talked to about this interview perspective is they just seem like this role has been taken away from you after everything you've built. Like I've heard you saying that you've improvised lines. You told me you wrote some of them, and all that to
Most of the
say
line.
that. Yeah, most of the lines. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, and that you personally feel that nothing's been taken away from you.
No. Look at it's a gift. It's a gift to get a chance to do what I did in this role. It's a gift, man. Like I mean, I can't speak for the new guy. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what they told him to do. But it seems pretty much that they're trying to recreate the original performance of Woods. It seems that way. Whether that is true or not, I can't speak for that. But for me, that's kind of flattering, isn't it? Like, wow, like they're kind of trying to recreate what I did. That's really flattering, man. Look at, I really own myself. I value personal value. My self esteem is built on my own ideas. Using other people's words, ideas, or actions as a way to create your self esteem or your self value is a very dangerous road because then you're going to need to control the whole world so you can feel good. Or you can control yourself and choose positive thoughts that make you feel good. So no matter what happens, you're always going to be okay. Now, if I was, if I believe that, again, I can't even believe that's not even an issue. Nothing was taken from me. Now, in terms of the fans, I wish I could have given you guys what I know for this script is so well. There's so much great stuff in Cold War. It's so well written. There's so many opportunities, so many what I call targets of opportunity for just one-liners, and as things go on, you learn the story and you connective tissue and stuff like that. But maybe for the fans, I have a little bit of I have a little bit of compassion for what a lot of them are feeling like they got ripped off. Like, wait a minute, this is kind of a they a lot of fans have mentioned that to me, and I said, I'm sorry you feel that way. I feel bad because it wasn't my call. I have no control over any of this, so I feel a little bit bad about that. But personally speaking, I'm happy, man. Hang on, let me close the door. I got the gardeners here. For the fan base, I think there's some lost opportunity there. I think I really could have brought a lot of unique things that would not have been possible without having 11 years on the job, So
Would you like to possibly, I don't know, bring maybe this new guy onto like Sarge's corner, have a chat with him, not a controversial chat,
I have
just like
asked.
two
Oh,
mates over a
I've
beer.
asked. I've invited him on. I've invited him on several times. I've invited the whole cast onto the show, but I was going to have Adler come on, Bruce Thomas, but he agreed, and then he suddenly declined. And you're going to ask, and I can't speak for any of these guys. I don't know why they don't come on the show. They would be really well treated, especially the new guy. I mean, come on, there's only two of us in the world. How fun would that be to compare notes? Oh, and what were you thinking here? Because here I was doing this. I would love to. Again, I'm very collaborative. I rarely. I'm a team sport guy, so I know that. Sometimes my job is to pass the puck. Another time my job is to shoot the puck. It's all the same, man. It's like I'm in the moment. I'm doing what's needed in the moment. That's the beauty of life. Is you can always do what you're doing. Start from where you are. This is my job here is to make that actor look good. Okay, fuck, this is gonna be fun. My job is to make sure this story. You find your job and then you maximize that moment. There's no small jobs. There's no small activities. And I would love to sit down with these guys and talk about. Oh, what about the audition process? Did you audition? How they? There's so many questions I'd ask that have nothing to do with ego. There's no fucking ego here. This is like it's hard being an actor. I celebrate actors when they get a gig, man. It's hard doing this, and I've been blessed. I make a living at it. I've been blessed. So yeah, I've reached out. I probably will reach out again in a couple months. I've had a lot of great guests. Al Cornell has been on. I've got a lot of great YouTubers have come on this channel, but I can't get any of the guys from Cold War on. I don't know why. You're going to have to ask them why they don't respond to my request. And fans have been requesting to. Fans request, once a day to these guys. But again, up to this point, I haven't heard anything from them about anything.
No, that's interesting. I just thought it'd be good for as well, just kind of like smoothing out some of the questions that people have about, you say there's no controversy and it's mostly in the fans, and I think that'd be a really good way of telling the fans, not to start any arguments anywhere else, just kind of calm things down in what appears to be a controversial situation.
I am constantly trying to mitigate, like, don't insult this guy. He's not a villain. He's an actor doing the job that he's asked to do. He's not a villain. Don't treat him like one. This guy's, and I always say, please respect what he's doing, because he probably had to audition. He had to do some work to get this gig. So they didn't just give it to him. He had to earn it. So for me, it's always about, even if it's just doing your best Woods imitation. And I don't know if that's what they did, but even if that's the case, it's a pretty tall order. Again, there can't be any ego in what I do. If it does, it'll destroy everything I built. So I have no problem with treating, extending all kinds of love and courtesy to these guys if they come on the show. That's on them.
No, absolutely. I think Tom wanted to ask some further questions on Sarge's Corner, because it's a huge part of what you do nowadays.
Yes, it is.
Tom, over to you.
Brilliant. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about, how did Sarge's Corner come about? Is it just you found the platform to give back to your fans, interact with them? Is that kind of what you was going for, or is there another aim towards it?
The platform's been there. The YouTube channel's been there since 2011, I think. And I just, I started doing Comic-Cons, and I started doing a lot of, personal appearances. And I would get the same questions over and over again. And I was trying to explain the whole performance capture thing. So, and I had this video that was done for the VGAs when I won the Character of the Year with Woods. And so I got a hold of that video and I posted it, and it was really well received. And it began to be, a way for me to show fans like how this is done, because it was new back in 2010. No one knew what performance capture was. It was a new thing. So I was trying to educate and inform. And then I just made again, I was a coach for 25 years. I could connect with, especially with young teenage guys. Like, I really, have a connection to that age group because of being a hockey coach. That's what I coach primarily. So I recognized the value and I knew what I was building with the Woods character. And as a coach, I would try to make sure that I coach from opportunity and enthusiasm, as opposed to, shaming and degradation, which is rather common. And I just wanted to make sure Woods had the same characteristic. He's somebody who you would want to, I know myself, the guys I follow are the guys who are supportive, the guys who are, very much generous with their spirit and their time and their thinking. And I designed Woods to be the same way. So I was kind of a social experiment, saying, okay, what happens when I bring it into the real world? And then I did that off and on for like 8 or 9 years, because, I didn't have any time to really focus on the YouTube channel because I was working. I've done a lot of work between now and then. And plus I write, I was producing a couple films. I wrote a couple movies, and and I have a life. I ride bikes. I play hockey. I do a lot of things. So I travel a lot. So the YouTube channel is a lot of work, man. YouTubers do 70 hours a week. It's a lot of work. So when COVID hit, it was just a natural thing. I got nothing to do. I was booked from, really? Hang on. There's my gardeners here cleaning my front yard. Can you hear it?
That's not too bad, don't worry.
Okay, so what happened was when COVID hit, hang on. That's the universe telling me to stop having such long
We've never had a gardener interrupt the podcast, I'll tell you that much.
No, what it is, so basically, it was just, I had time in quarantine, and I'd be getting a lot of questions about the new Call of Duty. I'd be getting a lot of questions about things that started to pop up about Woods coming back, and I said I said I'm gonna do a live stream, and I just to clear the air and tell people where I'm at. So here's what I'm doing. It's a pretty famous live stream. It got picked up by all the portals. Like big announcement from Woods. And I said, look, I have three things. I have not negotiated to recur the role. I have not talked to them. I have not. So I just said I'm not part of it. And then it was well received, and I started meeting some really great folks online, and I just kept it going. I was doing almost daily, but then that's so much work. I mean, I don't have the time it takes to do this well, and then it's just kind of evolved to where it is now. Now we have Sarge's Grill. We have the music channel. I did a couple parody songs. Hey Mason came out, which is a parody on it's just a Call of Duty parody song. Then I had the Christmas song we did. Jingle Woods Rock, and I'm working on a couple others as well. So it just became. I figured out a schedule that worked for me. I do basically 2 days a week, and do Sarge's Coffee, which is a mentoring show we do Tuesday mornings, where I talk to guys about, just coaching advice. I want to do this. How do I get started? So it's just kind of things I talk to you guys about right now. It's just coaching information on just life, when you need it. And on Thursdays and Sundays, Thursdays like a general talk show about news and kind of knucklehead stuff. And Sundays tend to be when I have my guests come out. Like tomorrow, I got a wonderful YouTuber, his L Eugenie. He does those videos about Call of Duty. Anyway, he's on. So that's the platform now that we're doing. It's gives me the opportunity to connect with fans, and I enjoy it, man. It's a good schedule. It gives me enough time to keep my. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, it's like he's right in front of my window.
Oh man!
Are you kidding me? The timing is spectacular. Anyways, yeah. So that's how it started. It's been around since day one, but it just became, and it was called James Burns. What's it called? James Burns Black Ops Video Channel for a long time, and then I just transferred it. It became Sarge's Corner sometime last spring, and it's stuck. Wow.
Brilliant. That is a very detailed
Are you
and
fucking
quite.
kidding me? Seriously, every time you talk, he's walking over here with the. All right. My yard's not that big. I don't know what he's doing.
Oh no! But anyway, maybe I should speak fast just in case I don't get interrupted again.
Keep walking away.
Okay, good. But yeah, so it's really interesting to see how that came about and how it was always a channel when you was posting your sort of behind the scenes in it. I just thought that was really interesting. And I know we're a bit past time now, but we've got a couple quick fire, like one-worded questions, if you're willing to do them.
You mean one-worded answers? You can't ask a one-word question. What?
That is
Why?
very true.
All right.
Brilliant. Right then. So, Tom, do you want to start with the first one?
Okay, I'll start with the first one. We have one that we always bring up on every episode, and that is jam or no jam.
Oh, definitely jam. Yeah.
Good choice.
Brilliant. Okay, so best Call of Duty map.
Shit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, moving on to the next one. Nuketown 2025 or Nuketown Original?
Original.
Brilliant. All right then. What else do we have? Oh, what's your COD League predictions?
My what?
Yeah, the Call of Duty League. Do you follow them? What's your predictions?
Atlanta FaZe.
Ah, brilliant. Nice one. Why does Woods have 115 tattooed to him?
Who the fuck knows? No idea.
Normal steak or potato steak?
Oh boy. You guys are really on it. Normal fucking steak, baby. That was a disaster. Did you see that video?
Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh my god, that was That wasn't planned, by the way. I'm actually a decent cook. That day just went shit and pot kettle on that one, man. It's just everything went wrong that day. Oh my god.
Brilliant. That is, the video was just hilarious to watch. How much of the wine did you end up getting through?
Fucking 2 bottles, dude. But remember something. I had multiple takes. I had to change angles, and there's more drinking. I have a buddy of mine. He's an editor, and there is a lot of drinking in that one. And he says, "Yo, man, you gotta taper that stuff." Because I was drinking from the very start. I gotta fucking have a bottle of wine. I went to a bottle of wine, and then I opened the hedges up, and I said, "Man, yeah." So that was two bottles there. Best
Brilliant.
acting is like the guy in the blue and he acted like he wasn't drunk. I shot that in the same moment, so I just switched coats and flopped the sides of the camera. So for me to act that sober was impressive.
That's
Impressive. Best work I've ever
Oh,
done.
brilliant. Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2?
Black Ops 1. No
Brilliant.
shit.
Oh,
It's one game to me.
one word. Well, 2 or 1, just say it, one word.
Yeah. Black Ops 1. Had to go where it started.
Brilliant. I'm sorry we're putting you under this pressure. Just before you go, we do have one more segment, so if it's a bit of a push for you, that's completely fine. But would you like to play British? Because we're British, we have some British slang, and would like to know if you know what these mean.
Oh yeah, hit me. Go ahead.
Okay, let's do this. So, what do you think "cheers" means in British slang?
Cheers. Means same thing here. Cheers. It's a salutation. Salute. Salute. It's a salutation.
No, means thank you.
Cheers means thank you.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Good to know.
All right. This one's quite an easy one, but mate, what do you think that means?
Buddy, friend, pal.
Damn right. Fiver.
A fiver. It's it's a currency, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Is it-
£5.
Is it £5? Yeah, £5.
Yeah, indeed. Chips.
Potatoes. Oh, fried potatoes.
Yeah, the right way of saying it, of course. Gander.
Gander.
Yeah.
To take a look at.
Yeah, having a look around. Brilliant. Decent.
Decent.
Yeah.
It means it's okay. That's a decent thing. It's okay. It's like it's moderately acceptable.
Right. Yeah. So it can mean that in British, but usually it means like really good. Like that's quite decent, as in that's really good.
Okay, so it's more than just moderate. It's a proclamation of quality. Okay.
Yeah. Next one is nonce.
Nonce.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Spell it.
NONCE.
Nonce. I have no fucking clue.
Chuffed.
Chuffed. It means you screwed somebody over.
It means happy.
I'm chuffed.
Yeah, I'm chuffed about that. That's like it's happy.
I'm chuffed about that. Bloody hell. All right, go ahead.
All right, wanker.
Wanker, you're a dick.
Yeah, exactly. And trainers.
Well, running shoes.
Damn right. Not because in America it's known as sneakers usually, I believe.
We have a lot of words for that.
Fair enough. But has anyone else got anything to ask? Any slang that they want to use?
Bricking it.
Breaking or bringing?
Bricking.
Bricking it.
Yeah.
That means you're kind of putting something in between two. Hey, buddy, it's putting something in between two elements, right? Like you brick somebody's balls. You put the balls on
Oh no! Normally it means like you're very scared. You're bricking it.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey guys,
It's been amazing.
It was a treat. Thank you so much. Send me a link to the show, and I'll promote it a little bit for you. All right?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, so if there's anything in the last second you want to plug for yourself, just go ahead and do it. We've got mad respect for you coming on.
Yeah, please come over to Sarge's Corner. The live streams are every Sunday and Thursday. Sarge's Coffee, and we have follow me on Twitter at James C. Burns and Sergeant Frank Woods, and Instagram at James C. Burns, and come visit me on my YouTube channel. Wow, that
Brilliant.
was yeah. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See ya.